It's Quantumania season. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a brand new episode of Undisputed Nerds. This is the podcast where we like to have fun. We talk about movies, comic books, TV shows. I'm your host, Zane, and as always, I am graciously in the presence of the gentlemanly gamer. How are you, good sir?
Hello, everyone out there in Radio Land. I am good. I am well. I am on a Friday night, quite happy, and I'm a little bit chilled out after that roller coaster of a ride that we just literally saw, didn't we, Zane? We literally are hot and fresh from the oven of cinema.
We are, yeah. Salted and sweet, I guess you could say.
I'm not going to ask who's who, but yeah. How are you, Tiger? You doing all right?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Not too bad. How about yourself?
I'm good. It's been a very strenuous week.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, it has been full on, very full on. I've remembered I have to do my job, so therefore I've done my job this week, and it's tiring. It's just exhausting.
Yeah.
And then I've been streaming Gotham Knights, as you well know. I had a quick chat with you about it tonight, and I finally got past the bit of it being new and exciting, and now it's into monotony, and I want to get through it. So. Yeah, it's going well. It's been a weird old week, but I'm good. I'm glad it's the weekend. I'm happy for that. So
good stuff.
I was looking forward to the film today, so it was good to see.
Amazing. One thing I forgot to mention last week. So when I had drinking because of the Six Nations, and off the back of that I was hungover. I forgot to mention I saw Puss in Boots super hungover the following day.
Okay, that's a lot to take in there. So first of all, don't tell people out there that you got drunk and hungover. You're going to disillusion a lot of kids out there, Zane. You got drunk on pop. Got drunk on pop.
Yeah.
And then when you say you saw Puss in Boots, the film, right? Just to be clear.
Yes,
good.
The movie.
Yep. Okay,
yes.
Good. Right. I just wanted to make sure that everything was in alignment in terms of our conversations. Is it? How depressing is that? By the way, yeah. Okay, so that raises a very good point. All right. First of all, I want to know how the film was, but secondly, whilst we're at it, can we just discuss the subtext or the subtitle for that film, which was it's Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. How depressing does that sound? I feel like it's going to get a guest star from John Cena or something who's going to come out because there's a kid who's dying in it or something. It's horrible. Like, who came up with the name of that?
I think it's a play on words because it's the whole movie essentially.
What I know there's a literal Puss in Boots, but what's the whole? Is it the whole movie is just one person? Is it Antonio Banderas' last wish to get one more Puss in Boots monetary value in?
I think it was his last Zorro.
His last Zorro hurrah as Puss in Boots. Well, did you enjoy it? Was it good?
A great film, really good.
Because you were drunk.
Off licorice.
Yes, sorry, yes. Yeah, you had an intense licorice high whilst you were in there. Yeah, it's difficult when it just goes straight to your head, isn't it? Oh, dear me. Good. Well, I don't have any intentions of seeing Puss in Boots anytime soon, but it'll probably come. Is it? Are there DreamWorks films on Disney?
No, they tend to go to Netflix.
Oh, okay, fine. Then I'll
come. Actually, that reminds me of something.
I still haven't seen Lightyear.
You're probably better off not to.
Okay.
DreamWorks have like a whole new intro into their movies now. So they have Shrek pop up. They have Kung Fu Panda. That whole kind of this is our cinematic back catalog.
God. Everything has to have a cinematic universe these days. I don't know. Shrek got bad after the second one, man. Like Shrek 2 was all right, but like Shrek 1 was good, and then the second one was all right, and then it just couldn't deal with it after that. But yeah, when you said DreamWorks had a new intro, I was like imagining because it's the boy sitting on the moon fishing, isn't it?
That's right.
And I was picturing like the boy getting dragged into the water by like a barracuda or something. Like DreamWorks have gone really dark. It's like poor boy getting mauled in the ocean.
No, he just flies his little moon and waves at all these popular DreamWorks characters
Oh,
as they go
nice.
past. So yeah.
And they all go.
Mm. When's my sequel?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Give me my last wish. Good. Anyway, yeah. What we doing today, Zane? Stuff's different today. What's different?
Today we are gonna go straight into the meat. We're going to go straight to the main course with this one. So today we're going to do non-spoilers, and then we're going to go into spoilers for our thoughts and review of Ant-Man Quantumania.
You are never living that down. We're gonna go straight into the meat.
Mm.
You didn't even. There was no like. Yeah. Do not confuse this with some kind of weird cooking show, guys. We're not going into literal meat. We're getting into the meaty topic that is Ant-Man.
Seasoned.
Yeah, so we're doing a bit of a shorter one this week, guys. So there's not going to be any Batman 360 no scope or anything like that. We're just going to do a little review whilst it's all fresh in our brains. Give you our thoughts and where we see things going. And yeah, obviously, like Zane said, we'll do non-spoilers, but then heavy, massive spoilers for Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. So if you have not seen it, please go and watch it before listening to the rest of the show.
I will definitely add time codes to the description for those who want to avoid the spoilers.
There we go.
So, yeah, there.
So,
Zane, did you know that I love to surf?
No, I didn't.
I know, it's amazing. You'd never believe it looking at me, but I am an avid surfer. Not of the sea, though. Oh, no. I am a surfer of the World Wide Web, my friend. And let me tell you something. When I go surfing, I definitely need some protection. Not the usual kind of wetsuit, though. I need some VPN. Do you know what VPN means, Zane?
I don't. What's a VPN?
Well, it would be a virtual private network, and let me tell you, we here at Undisputed Nerds are being sponsored this week, and a big thank you to the episode sponsor, Surfshark VPN. You can get Surfshark VPN 83% off and 3 months free, Zane, if you go to surfshark.deals/Undisputed Nerds and enter in the promo code Undisputed Nerds. Surfshark VPN lets you trick your device into thinking it's in another country, which opens up a whole world of content library, Zane. So think about it this way. If you're in the UK, you can watch US Netflix, which has a far bigger selection of movies. You can get all of your Batfleck content that I know you love, Zane. I know you're looking for. If you're outside of the UK as well, you can watch amazing apps like BBC iPlayer. And if you're in the US, you can finally get access back to the old WWE network with its far superior functionality. We've been using, me and Zane have been using Surfshark here at Undisputed Nerds for a while. It is our official VPN, and it doesn't just let us gain access to all the comic book movies, but it also secures our networks by encrypting internet traffic, keeping our location and download history private. Thankfully, so that people can't see me purchasing wetsuits. My favorite feature on the Surfshark, it knows when my phone leaves a trusted connection, like my home or work internet, and it immediately turns on to prevent interference. It's like having, I don't know, Batfleck's Justice League for your phone, Zane.
I know exactly what you mean.
And I know you've got a lot of Batfleck on your phone right now. So sign up to Surfshark today by using our link in the video description below, surfshark.deals/Undisputed Nerds, where you'll get, again, 83% off and your first 3 months free if you use the code Undisputed Nerds. We really appreciate if you just at least check them out, as they're a great company and we love working with them. Support Undisputed Nerds and support your internet privacy with Surfshark.
Go.
Zane. Phase 5 is kicking off. Tell us what's happening with Scott Lang.
Scott Lang is living it up, as they say. Hot with his new fame of being the Ant-Man. Which is really cool. You get to see Scott kind of earn the sort of... It's interesting, isn't it, I guess, because we saw Falcon, like, recently not exactly get the same sort of benefits of being an Avenger. Yet we see
Yeah.
Scott Lang have book deals, and he can walk into a coffee shop and get a free meal. We even saw him have a little brunch date with Jimmy Woo.
Yes, yeah. I will. We will. I guess we'll cover in spoilers about our cameos that we talked about last week.
Yeah.
But yeah. He did. You're supposed to say no spoilers. What are you doing?
Is
That's
that
a
a
spoiler.
spoiler?
Yeah, it's a spoiler.
Oh.
He's friends with Ant-Man. We now know it. Anyway, yeah. It's an interesting dynamic, isn't it? I wonder if that was playing into because there was quite a lot of kind of racism undertones in Falcon and Winter Soldier,
Mhm.
and I wonder how much of that is, because obviously Sam is a black man versus the popular white Ant-Man. Like
Yeah.
I wonder if that was part and parcel of it, because there was a lot of stuff that was kind of weaved into Falcon and Winter Soldier that made it good
Mhm.
like that. Yeah, you're right. He is living the high life though. I say high life. He's getting like free coffees and stuff. He's got a book deal. It's I guess he's one of the few. It's an interesting insight into one of the few heroes who celebritized their
Mhm.
status, in the sense of like, Tony Stark was famous before he became Iron Man.
Yeah.
Like most heroes become heroes because of some kind of noble pursuit. Captain America was fighting for country, and I'm trying to Thor is obviously just defender of the realm,
Mhm.
but Ant-Man was kind of just, well, he's a thief who just fell into it, and
Yeah.
why not make a few bob off of it off the side.
Yeah.
um but yeah, he's still with Hope.
Mhm.
Hope's now taken over. I don't think it's a spoiler to say that she's taken over the family business and is running it quite well. So what I did find interesting about that was that well, we'll come back to that. We'll come back to that in spoilers. And Cassie is
Mhm.
now grown. His daughter,
Yeah.
Cassie Lang, she's now 18. Is she in this? 18, 19?
I couldn't say for definite.
I don't know,
But
but she's anyway. She's growing up and getting into the family business of being an ant thing. Um, and obviously Janet came back in the last one, so her and Hank Pym are kind of still together, and
mm,
yeah, it's business as usual. It's interesting though. Everyone seems to know he's the catalyst for saving everything. Do you
when
know
it
what I
came
mean?
to Infinity War
Yeah,
and
to Endgame. Yeah, that,
yeah.
like, everyone seems to know that he's the reason why everyone came back after the blip. Like, if it wasn't for
Yeah.
Ant-Man, none of it would have happened.
Mm,
Which I thought was interesting, because it's, a lot of I mean, there was much more than just him involved in it, obviously, but
yeah.
we haven't really seen. I think that's one of the things that Phase 4 was kind of guilty of, was post the snap,
Mhm.
everything's been really depressing. You know,
Yes.
even Spider-Man, it was depressing, because it's just like, oh, he's a murderer. It's like he can't get into MIT because he's a murderer. Whereas this was the first one where it's just kind of like, oh, it's actually quite optimistic. Like, he's having a good life. Like, as Ant-Man, like, his life's going
Yeah.
okay. He's not fighting crime anymore, which is an interesting thing. He's actually not being Ant-Man currently, but
Yeah.
his alter ego is enjoying the fruits of his crime fighting days.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. It's an interesting point, and something that's also mentioned is again, it might be going into a little bit of spoiler territory, but Cassie mentions like people who come back from the blip, don't have a home to go back to, so there's like a housing crisis and all this other sort of like.
Yes. Yeah, the blip ramifications are still
Mm,
ongoing even to this day. Yeah, so she's become a bit of a troublemaker, hasn't she? Almost following in her dad's footsteps. So again, we're not really getting into spoiler territory. This all kind of happens at the beginning of the film, but
mm,
she gets arrested because she's used PIM tech on some police cars. So she's kind of getting involved with the family business. And I guess if we're in non-spoiler territory as well, what you've seen from the trailers and what's going on, they are meddling around with quantum tech. So
mhm.
Cassie when her dad was blipped, was stuck in the quantum realm, Cassie apparently became quite au fait with quantum physics and that side of things, and wanted to learn how to try and reach him whilst he was inside. And so she expanded on that knowledge and created this kind of mapping system for the quantum realm. In doing so, she accidentally awakened something nasty within the quantum realm that pulls them into the latest adventure. And I think that is about as far as I can go without revealing any more details of what happens. Can you think of anything else non-spoilery to say, Zane?
Do you want to give your sort of overall thoughts on top as like the movie, or do you want to save that till the end of like how you felt about it?
Yeah, let's save it to the end. Yeah. There's no point in talking about it without spoiling it, to be honest with you, because it's there's too much. I can't separate out the non-spoiled from the spoiled at this point in time. So
fair enough.
So yeah. So spoilers, guys. Let's go into spoilers.
Let's do it.
So I think everyone knows Kang's in this, obviously. It's just, he's been in the trailers. What's also in this is MODOK. MODOK is one of the other baddies in this. So basically, we get a load of plot explanation about what happened to Janet Van Dyne in the quantum realm when she was there. So she knew Kang. Not only did she know Kang, she spent a lot of time with Kang and helped him, because he arrived there seemingly out of the blue.
Yep.
In his ship, which I had a question to that, right? So the reason we get for why he's in the quantum realm is that he was banished to the quantum realm by his peers. We don't necessarily know who his peers are or who banished him there, but we just know he was banished there. Why the hell did they banish him there with his ship?
Because...
Do you know what I mean? That's the one thing I came out of it thinking, wait, they banished him there, but with the means for him to escape.
Interesting.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because the whole MacGuffin in this film is that Kang needs his power source restored to escape. That's the MacGuffin. He's got this power core that only Janet can unpim, because she, in an effort to stop Kang from escaping, she basically blows up with Pym particles.
Supersize.
Supersize me this engine core that's a multiversal engine core. But why the hell, if you've banished him to a place, would you give him the means to escape that place anyway?
Unless it's intentional.
But he was... this is where my head was going, because afterwards I was thinking, but why would they banish him in the first place when they gave him the thing that he's using to escape from the banished place in the first place? And I just kept going around in a loop, because it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's almost like when I first heard that backstory, it reminded me of Doctor Who. You know, when they exile the second Doctor in his TARDIS and he regenerates into the third.
No, but I understand. That I understand, because that I understand for two reasons. Because they exile him to Earth, and he can't escape from Earth because he doesn't have his TARDIS.
He had the TARDIS.
Not in the not in the third series.
Not so much. I'm talking regenerations. When he goes into Pertwee, and he's stuck at unit. What?
Say that. Don't say when he turns into Pertwee, not when he goes into Pertwee.
He turns into Pertwee.
He doesn't physically insert himself into John Pertwee.
Well, I mean, have you seen his face?
That's true. Doctor! No, I thought it wasn't the whole third series was that he didn't have the TARDIS and they put him on. I thought that was the whole third series was he was stuck on Earth. This is tangenting off. Let's not worry about that. Let's not worry about that. Anyway, the MacGuffin is he needs his power core. Janet Van Dyne has blown it up with Pym particles, so she's the only one who can reverse it down and help him escape from the quantum realm. That's the whole MacGuffin. He's also then amassed an army, as a lot of people theorize that he would, and he's ready to leave and conquer the universe. So when Cassie sends the signal, he gets sucked in. They get sucked into the quantum realm, and then lo and behold, that's what happens. So yeah. So spoilers, I guess. So MODOK is in this. He's not an AIM creation. He is a creation of Kang's,
Mhm.
and he is what everyone rightly thought he would be. Is Yellow Jacket. It's Aaron Cross after he was Pym messed with his whole body getting shrunk and adapted into different shapes and sizes. And he's a giant head now. He's one big giant
Mm.
head. What did you think of MODOK?
It, I mean, it looked terrible. Because it is just a floating face, isn't it? Really,
Yeah.
that's the worst part.
But when you say terrible, like as in like bad terrible or like a terrible good?
It's a mix, isn't it? Because it's comic book accurate, but I
Yes.
think it's one of those things where your brain tells you that's not what a face should look like.
I really loved it. Like I really loved the MODOK interpretation in this because it was like it's such a stupid character. Like I mean, it's such a when you think about it realistically,
Oh yeah,
it's
yeah.
a floating head with tiny arms and legs in a chair,
Mm.
and like how the hell do you adapt that in a good way in the MCU? Like how do you do that? And like to have it be Yellow Jacket after he's been like crunched was
Yeah.
just it was so good. And like Darren Cross still has his identity issues and like you know his like inferiority complexes that he had in the first one, but now it's just on an even larger scale. And like it's still the line that still kills me, and I said it to you after the film, the line that still gets me is that when Ant-Man they get captured by MODOK, and Ant-Man says to him, Darren, what happened to you? And he said, MODOK goes, I'm not Darren anymore, I'm MODOK. I'm the ultimate weapon. And then and then Scott Lang looks at him and just goes, is that what this is? And I was like, I couldn't take it. It was so good. It's so good. So yeah, so MODOK is a Kang creation, and is being, and yeah, that it even shows his little bum, doesn't it, in the
It does,
the
yeah.
little making process. So yeah, when they get sucked into the quantum realm, that's the team Ant-Man. They get separated. So Cassie and Scott get captured by Kang, and then Janet, Hope, and Hank go off to explore the quantum realm. So the quantum realm is actually a whole new universe that's underneath everything, and it's just as expansive as the cosmic realm. And it has its own civilizations. It has its own people, or you know, humanoids, if you will. What was your thoughts on the quantum realm universe and the people who inhabited it?
Felt very Star Wars. Did you
Okay.
get that vibe? Like,
I did. Go on. No, you go.
Like all the sort of spaceships and gizmos and things, it felt like they had the same sound effects from Star Wars. And then there's like bar scenes and such, and I was like, this could have been the cantina. Like it feels.
It's interesting you say that. I didn't think it was Star Wars. I felt it was extremely Guardians of the Galaxy.
Interesting.
You could have taken that so there is a cantina scene. Spoilers again, obviously. There's a cantina scene that has Bill Murray in it. You could have taken that scene and put it on Nowhere, and it still would have fit.
Yeah.
Like you could tell stylistically they took a lot of multiversal inspiration from the cosmic universe that James Gunn created with Guardians, and the wacky, spacey out there. I really liked. I liked a lot of the natural tech that we saw. So like a lot of the bikes and stuff like that were like weird amoebas that they were using, and they can like separate out and stuff like that. And I really liked that. That looked very, very cool. And a lot of the concepts, like the living buildings and stuff like that, was really, really cool.
Yeah.
And I'm glad they did. I'll tell you one thing I was really glad of. There was a special there was a special fluid being who I can't remember what the name of, but he was a standout and he was hilarious. And by drinking his goo, it became like a universal translator so that they could understand the language of everyone, what everyone was speaking. Like, I really liked that because it's like it's too much of a universal truth, if you will, that they just go to all these planets and everyone speaks English. It's like, well, Doctor Who is another example of like explaining that quite well, where the TARDIS has this telepathy circuit. Well, that's the goo is this telepathy circuit, I like that they explained that. So it's not just like just everyone speaks English here. Coincidence, isn't it? Let's move on to the Ant-Man team, and then we'll move on to Kang, because there's going to be so much to talk about with Kang. What were your thoughts on the interpretations of Cassie becoming Stature, and also the standard team that we've come to expect, the Ant-Man team, returning Wasp, Hank, and Janet?
Yeah, sure. I guess it's fun to see Michael Douglas and Michelle Pfeiffer. Like, Michelle Pfeiffer does a lot more in this movie than I think she did in the last movie.
100%.
But then I think they've kind of toned down the Hope screen time in this in comparison, because it makes sense, because Michelle Pfeiffer's character has to kind of set up the Kang story, right? It's all
She's
from
the
her
insider,
perspective. Yeah. And the thought crossed my mind, like, here we are in the year of our Lord 2023, where Michelle Pfeiffer and Michael Keaton will also be in a separate movie this year. But
it's weird, isn't it?
Still great acting chops. The team are good, great dynamic. It's obvious that Cassie has got like almost like Paul Rudd mannerisms in her delivery of like jokes, and
it's good.
The comedic timing. It feels like she's probably trying to mimic some of his acting chops, shall we say?
Yeah, it's nice. It's a good way to do it. I agree with you. I thought they were great. I think it's a nice to have, and a nice established team. We've talked about this a lot, where it's like Marvel has a certain element of nostalgia in it at the moment, and certain actors who were so perfectly cast in the roles that they was cast in. It's nice to see them again. And it was very nice. Seeing Paul Rudd as Ant-Man, it just makes me happy. Like, it's just a natural thing.
I can't really separate the character from the actor now. Very much the same with like RDJ and Iron Man. In my mind, they're kind of really synonymous now.
I can, because he was an Anchorman before this, and he was also in Friends and all this other stuff, so I can differentiate him. But I mean, he's just you're right, he is so perfectly cast as Scott Lang, so it's like he might as well be him. I will say it didn't really get a lot of character development from them. There's no lessons learned or anything like that. It didn't really feel, because the consistent theme for Scott Lang has always been his daughter. He'll do anything for his daughter, and that remained in this. The whole thing was built around, I'll do anything for my daughter. And the one thing, well, we're talking about spoilers, I didn't think there was enough. I thought that this was the end of his journey. And it's funny, my brother, who I saw it with as well, said the same thing. I thought he should have died in this, or at least get trapped in the quantum realm, because he has done enough now, where it's like you need that sacrifice, and you need Kang to be a legitimate threat if he is going to be the Thanos of this universe, this next couple of phases. And I just felt like right at the end, in the final battle, he should have like, when they went through the portal and he didn't, I was like, this is it. Like, he's either going to trap there or Kang's going to kill him. It's one or the other. And then it didn't happen. And the Ant-Man team took down Kang. That's a problem. Like, you laughed. That is a problem.
I laugh because it is a garish problem to have. To this movie, in a lot of ways, is a Kang prologue, and less of an Ant-Man end, if you know what I mean. Like, if you were to say the Ant-Man movies contained as their own trilogy,
Yeah.
this isn't his final movie.
No.
This
And
is
that's I think that's part of the I really I like let's go in, we'll talk about Kang.
Mhm.
If Loki was the teaser trailer for Kang, this is
Mhm.
now the full trailer before we actually see the rest of it, you
Yeah.
know. Um I love Jonathan Majors. I think he is fantastic. And what I like the best about him, and especially this portrayal of Kang,
Mhm.
is that he is fully getting the idea that every single Kang is different, and he is playing every single Kang differently. You know, the way he portrayed He Who Remains is not the same as how he's portrayed the Conqueror. It's also
Mhm.
not the same as we've seen as he portrays Ramatut. You know, we'll come to that in a second, guys. Um, I thought Kang was really. I thought Jonathan Majors as Kang was excellent. I still think
Mhm.
he's excellent. Um, I thought he had just the right notes of kindness mixed with terror. Like, he's genuinely terrifying because he can
Yeah.
just flip on a dime and just destroy you. Powers wise, it was a weird mix of like being weirdly OP and then really not OP, you know?
Yeah.
Um, and I get that he wasn't as full technological power. But what did you think of the Kang interpretation? Did you like it?
I really bought into it because it's very easy with that sort of role to kind of overham it or kind of
Mm,
deliver too much or chew the scene, as they say sometimes. I think he does command a certain regal or like royalty presence
a
when
king.
yeah, like as you would expect from a conqueror or an emperor of sorts. um and yeah, it there's so many sort of unique moments as well, like when Janet sees into his mind and understands who she's actually been working with, and he doesn't like pull her away from it quickly to kind of cover his tracks. He actually just sits there and watches her
Well, do you think
learn
he knows
more.
what's happening though? Do you think he
it,
understands what's happening when that
I,
happens?
I think so, because he just kind of sits there almost like a smirk on his face, like, okay,
Right.
the jig's up. Like, I don't have to pretend anymore to be this persona.
Yeah.
So there's certain little cues that I'm kind of like, that's really cool. Um,
Here's a question
yeah.
for you. Uh, when she saw what he had done,
Hmm.
what time period was that?
Mm,
So
interesting.
here's where it gets crazy, guys. So the end of this film, there's loads that we haven't talked about. You know, there's loads that we won't talk about because I really enjoyed this film. I
Hmm.
thought it was great. You know, plot twist aside, oh sorry, plot hole that aside that I've just worked out, where it's why did they exile him when they gave him the thing to get out of the exile anyway? But plot hole aside from that, I really enjoyed this movie, and I thought it was a really fun kickoff to Phase 5.
Mm,
I've seen it's gotten absolutely slaughtered by critics. It's
yeah,
not deserving of that slaughter. It is good. It's much better than Eternals. It's much better than Thor: Love and Thunder. It's
absolutely.
a good fit. It's not like it's not Endgame. It's not going to rewrite, comic books
Yeah,
as it is. But I would place this around the same level as the first Iron Man movie. Like, it's around that level of enjoyment for me. I really liked this. Um, I think that they've set themselves some really difficult problems.
hmm,
Um, Kang, technically, it seems like he dies,
yeah,
but I don't think he's actually dead. He gets exploded in like a Pym tunnel multiverse thing. I don't think he's dead. I think he's been sucked into another reality or dimension, something along those lines. But the post-credit scenes are where things really kind of kick it up a notch.
hmm,
Zane, do you want to tell us what happens in the post-credits?
yeah. So the first sort of mid credit scene, we actually get to see the council of Kang, and they converse and talk about the events of the exiled one be perishing, and that they've taken it upon themselves to action. And you pointed out, there's Ramatut, Immortus.
Yeah.
I wasn't quite sure who the third one was in
I think
that
it's
scene.
supposed to be the what's his name? Is it Crimson Centurion or whatever his name is? I can't remember what his name is.
Okay, I'm not sure.
It's something like that. I'm sure it's the Crimson Centurion. Basically, the Council of Kang is all of them. It's all the variants coming together, and it looks like they're prepping up for some kind of massive multiversal war. So my hot take on this is that this is what the Kang Dynasty is going to be built around, because Avengers 5 has already been dubbed the Kang Dynasty.
Yep.
I had a hot take that I told you when I left the cinema, which is maybe this is what is going to be why there's so many potential superhero teams. Maybe we're going to find that they fight multiple Kangs across realities. So, for example, Ramatut maybe is going to get taken down by Captain America and the Fantastic Four working together, because that's obviously they meet Ramatut in their comic. Immortus, maybe it's Captain Marvel led squad of the Marvels, Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, and then maybe they have to take down Immortus, and then Crimson Centurion gets taken down by, I don't know, Doctor Strange.
Man Thing.
Yeah, exactly. But that might be why they've been setting up so many teams, is that it's going to be a whole big multiversal, and then Secret Wars is literally going to be the culmination of it, and everything exploding. My other take on this is that this is one big loop, and that Kang the Conqueror is actually He Who Remains. And this is just basically the start of the next cycle. So this is the beginning of the multiversal war, where all of reality is almost destroyed before it all starts going back into one sacred timeline, and then we just reset the whole loop again, and it all goes back. Which is how you reintroduce Iron Man and Captain America and all these other people as well.
And the mutants.
Precisely. Exactly. Yeah. The other post-credit sequence is literally a scene straight out of Loki season 2, where they are in the past and they've met a Kang variant who I've forgotten what the name of is now, but he's basically like a robotics expert who is alive in like the Victorian era. And I can't wait. I got so excited seeing Tom Hiddleston again. It was so nice to see it. I love him so much. But yeah, anyway, that's about it, isn't it, Zane?
Yeah, I'd say so. Good visuals, pacing, probably not the best, but it's fine. And yeah, I'd say overall, Undisputed, as you mentioned before, it's just not a standout movie. So I guess it's just set those expectations go into it. It's not, as you said.
It's a fun romp, guys. Don't expect it to rewrite the rules. It's just a really fun romp and gives you a nice introduction to Kang and this, I guess, something they'll do again with the Quantum Realm. But, there's a lot we haven't talked about, but go and see it for yourself, because it's worth it. It is worth
Absolutely.
it. Let us know what you thought as well. Where can they get us, Zane?
You can get us on all the social medias at undisputed_nerds. You can email us, nerdsunDisputed@gmail.com. You can follow me at Zane_Taicho, and GG, yourself.
Twitch.tv/gentlemanlygamer. I stream every Tuesday and Thursdays, and you can get me on Instagram at gentlemanlygamer. And we'll be back next week, guys. I've no idea what we're going to talk about. Hey, the world's crazy right now. Let's just see what happens, yeah? But you stay safe out there.
Stay safe. Enjoy Pancake Day. All the relevant links will be in the description. Yeah, never forget. All the relevant links will be in the description down below. And yeah, keep reading, keep writing, and we will no doubt catch you on the next one.
Thanks very much, guys. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Peace.